Hey everyone, Dr. Frunkey here with an awesome new knife consult. This knife comes to us by way of Arpodo, YouTube user. He's actually a good friend of mine in real life. We work together and we talk about knives pretty much on a daily basis. We basically encourage each other's addiction and we learn about exciting new releases through each other. And Arpodo was looking for a new high-end frame lock flipper, and we had been looking at everything that had been coming out recently, and lots of things had crossed our plate in terms of deciding. Plenty of zero tolerances. ZT makes a fine frame lock flipper like the 0392. They've really done a great job with some of their newer sprint runs, which you can also check on the channel, like this beautiful 0801 BRZ. Frame lock flippers don't get a whole lot better than ZT, but he was looking for something even more unique. We've definitely been impressed with some of the new things coming out of China. I have this little Wee Knife 605. I am deeply impressed by the quality on this guy right here. Titanium frame lock flipper, ceramic ball bearings, really cool knife coming out of China. Plenty of other companies have been doing well too. Reate Knives specifically has really been killing it with some of their items. They're very high quality. They're collaborations with high-end makers, and my friend Arpodo was convinced that one of those new Reates is just the way of the future, and he wanted one really badly. So when he saw that Liong Mah had been coming out with some unique versions of his knives, he was really enthralled with them. And when Liong put this on his website, my friend was basically done. This is the Tempest model from Liong Mah, but this is a special edition, okay? This is the carbon fiber edition of the titanium frame lock flipper by Liong Mah. Now, Liong Mah, for those of you who don't know, is a custom knife maker. Well known in the community, well respected. His most popular model may be the Warrior 1 and Warrior 2. Those are a bit smaller. I think those come in at around 3.5 inches. This is a full 4-inch bladed knife. And boy, oh boy, is it awesome. So, when my friend Arpodo was looking for this knife, it was between this and the Warrior 1 in carbon fiber. I told him to go for this guy. The reason being, this carbon fiber Tempest model is limited to only 49 knives. Apparently there will only ever be 49 of these carbon fiber Tempests ever made. And that's per Liong Mah on his website. So that's really exciting. And so I thought, limited edition, exclusive, carbon fiber, titanium frame lock, Reate knives, Liong Mah, just go for it. The Tempest is the way to go. And so here it is in my hands now. He's allowed me to take it home today and kind of flick it and play around with it. It's been a whole lot of fun. This is an awesome knife. I cannot say enough nice things about this knife and the way it's put together, the way it flips, etc., etc. And we'll get into all that. So when I first saw this knife, let me talk about my first impressions here. I got it in my hand and immediately I felt that carbon fiber. Now this is a really nice carbon fiber. It's lightweight. You can tell that a lot of weight has come out of this knife. I think on the site they say that this kicks almost a whole ounce off the weight of the knife. On my scale, this knife is coming in at 4.7 ounces, which is really not a bad weight considering how kind of beefy and strong and well built this thing is. So we'll get more into all that. But my first impressions were very good. The quality you can feel. Just when it's closed like this, you can just feel that very strongly built frame. That carbon fiber has a nice tactile feel to it. And just the way that it shimmers in the light is really unlike most carbon fibers available on the market today. There are some other knives that boast carbon fiber out there, but not all of them look quite that awesome. This is a ZT-0452, the M390 Blue Edition here. Cool blue titanium there. But this carbon fiber is much flatter, much smoother in terms of the texture. It's really hard to quantify, but the depth and the richness of the sheen on this carbon fiber is really second to none. I am really impressed with what that looks like. The blade is really, really nice. It's really well ground. That stonewash finish, I'll see if I can get it to show up in this bright lighting that I've got going on. But it is a very, very well done stonewash and very, very well done satin. It almost looks like a hand rubbed satin on the flat there. The blue hardware really just sort of adds a pop of color. Sometimes I used to think that, you know, the blue hardware was just kind of cheesy, it didn't really look right. But on here, and I finally get it on this knife. It just means that everything has been looked at, everything has been analyzed, and every single piece is a high quality material. You can tell that that's titanium that's been anodized, and that's really, really awesome. Something else unique on this knife that Liong Mah did was this clip right here. That is an exclusive to this knife, and I'm sure you can appreciate from this angle the aesthetics of that thing, where it actually resembles the blade shape. That's pretty neat. We're going to talk more about that clip a little bit later, though. So, definitely impressed with this thing right out of the box. Speaking of right out of the box, this guy comes with a really nice case from Liong Mah Knives. Doesn't have any Reate stuff in here. It's all Liong Mah materials. You get a nice carrying case with his logo on there. You get the microfiber towel. That's really cool. And of course, a certificate of authenticity. You know, even though these things are supposed to only have 49 models ever made, there really aren't any serial numbers or anything to find, and there's no serial number on the certificate of authenticity either. So I found that a little bit interesting. In any case, initial impressions, awesome. So with every knife, it's important to break it down and understand it in terms of its components. So the first part we always talk about on this channel is the blade. So this is a really interesting grind here. Some people describe this as a Persian type blade. It's got a completely straight spine up here, nicely ground top swedge finished in that stone wash, that really, really fine stone wash. You've got a nice satin flat. Both sides have been satin finished, and it's got a certain hand rub nature to it, being that it's the horizontal satin like that. I can't say for certain that it wasn't hand rubbed satin, but given that this is a Reate knife, that sort of means that it's a production knife, and maybe they figured out a way to do that on the line. But the entire length of the cutting edge, which is 3.75 inches, the whole blade from the pivot is 4 inches, is a belly. There's no real straight on here. So you're going to have to keep that in mind if you're thinking about picking this knife up in terms of what you can use this for. These knives that are all belly are not necessarily the best kitchen knives, because you're not going to get a flat cut straight down onto your board. But what this will do really well is sort of simple everyday cutting tasks. It will allow you to open packages. That nice sharp tip will allow you to poke into things really well. The strength of the tip, you can see the thickness of the blade is really carried pretty far out to the tip there, and it's reinforced, so you've got a pretty strong tip there. What I find this blade shape to be most consistent with is that of a tactical blade. It is a design that I think would be best suited for stabbing and slashing at other people. So bear that in mind. I feel like this knife is made mostly for that, and it may not, because of the blade contouring, be the most perfect knife for every single application. The blade is done in S35 VN steel, as are many of the Reate knives. I have nothing negative to say about S35VN. In my experience, it takes an edge and it holds it well, and it never rusts. So I love S35VN. I have nothing negative to say about it. So moving back, let's check out the pivot. This pivot is sort of semi-custom looking design. Really nice big pivot right there with the blue titanium hardware on the outside, or for the screw. Mirrored on the back side. I have not taken this knife apart. I don't know if it is like a D pattern on the inside or somehow made so that it won't spin in there. I'm sure that they've got some nice engineering going on in there. It does ride on ball bearing washers, so it's got a very, very smooth deployment and retraction. See if we can get the whole blade in frame here without hitting the camera. Nice, very good. So really, really attractive blade here. Really, really smooth action going on. You can hear how smooth that is. It just kind of flicks right out. No hot spots, no grinding, no sandiness or grittiness to it. Very smooth on the way out. All on that pivot. It is a flipper design. There is only really one way to open this knife, and that is with the flipper. There's no thumb stud or thumb disc. I suppose theoretically you could use your fingers to try to open it, but that's kind of difficult with the way that swedge is ground. So the only way you're getting this guy open is by flipping it. But that is okay, because that is a highly enjoyable experience. And I could basically do this all day, and I kind of have been ever since he let me borrow it. Moving back to the handle, you've got a well-made, highly ergonomic handle going on here. This is the same type of handle that you'll find on the standard Tempest, except with the exception of the carbon fiber scale. Now this is a full carbon fiber piece. If you look in here, there is no steel liner on the inside. It's just straight carbon fiber. It's very lightweight. It's got the texturing that I mentioned earlier. If you get really close to the pattern, you can kind of see that the fibers are somewhat exposed. This is not a super low void carbon fiber. Let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about here. Maybe my camera will focus on it. There we go. So as you can see there are some voids on the back there, but I feel like that was intentional because of the presentation grade nature of this carbon fiber, and those voids sort of give this a unique texture where the fibers are kind of exposed. Listen to that. You can kind of hear and feel the quality of that. It's got a matte finish, very grippy, considering that there's not really a pattern that's etched into it. Liong Mah says he limited this to 49 because this just kills his end mills, and it sounds like he didn't want to make any more, so that's pretty cool. The lock side is made of titanium. And in standard Reate fashion, it's got some very, very fine milling lines, which I'll try to get in focus here. Very, very fine pattern on that. Very, very attractive. I really like that. It kind of shows the sort of programming and the meticulousness that goes into creating this by leaving that little hint of the milling lines. Again, you've got the all blue titanium hardware here. On the clip here, there's a hidden screw back there. This is a backspacer construction. This is a solid piece of titanium back here. Gives it a nice sense of rigidity back there. A little bit of grip with this jimping. Not a whole lot, but that's okay. It gives you a little bit of traction and generates no hot spots, so that's cool. It is a frame lock with a steel lock bar insert. Reasonably early lockup there, maybe about 30 to 40%. I don't really care much for crazy early lockups. Some people are all about that. I think this is just about perfect. And it's a really, really nice handle to hold. Fits in the hand very well. Again, I have a large hand, size 8 sterile gloves, but this fits my hand really nicely, and I still have a little bit of handle sticking out the back. With a 4-inch blade and a close to 5-inch handle, you're looking at a pretty big knife here. So for a guy like me, this is pretty cool stuff. And it carries that 4-inch blade pretty nicely. Let's look at some size comparisons in terms of some other popular knives that people might know about here. Let's look at maybe a Spyderco Paramilitary 2, also in carbon fiber. That's a cool knife right there, but this carbon fiber is clearly done in a different way. So the overall knife length is not all that different. Paramilitary 2 is kind of known for having a whole lot of handle and not a lot of blade, so for about the same form factor, you're getting a whole heck of a lot more blade here with the Tempest. Let's look at another knife with a 4-inch blade. Here's the ZT0452 CF. This one has a 4.1-inch blade and a whole lot of handle there. Slightly bigger knife, but just a size comparo here. Let's bring out the We Knives 605, the only other Chinese-made knife that I have in my collection right now. Very small knife there. That's a 3-inch blade on that one. And heck, why not? Let's since we're just showing off limited edition knives here, let's bring out the ZT0801 BRZ. Beautiful new knife. Check out the review that I just did on this guy. So, now that you've got a good sense of sort of what the size of this knife is, let's talk about what it's like to EDC. Well, in a word, excellent. This is a very functional knife shape. For standard cutting tasks, you're going to be able to slice really nicely through just about anything, stab into anything. It's thick enough that you can kind of pry a little bit if you want to. Very smooth action. There is absolutely no lock stick. The deployment action is very smooth and repeatable with no places where it catches. I really enjoy it. It's lightweight, coming in at about 4.7 ounces. Easy to carry at that weight. Between about 4 and 5 ounces is kind of the sweet spot for me. I find that's enough heft to feel it in the hand and feel solid without so much weight that it kind of weighs your pants down. I will just say there is one flaw on this knife, and it's a big one. I would almost call it a fatal flaw. That is the pocket clip. While I deeply appreciate Liong Mah's aesthetic choice here to make the pocket clip look like the blade, I think that that looks awesome in a picture. I want you to think for a moment what that means in terms of a functional pocket clip. So I use the knife, no problem. Now I want to put it in my pocket. So every time I put a knife in my pocket, I kind of slide it in and grab the tip of the clip and kind of pull it up over my pants, right? To get it in smoothly. Look how sharp the tip of that clip is. It legitimately hurts to the point where I can't even put this in my pocket without really hurting my hand. So while I appreciate that it's an interesting and unique design element there, I think functionally this clip is not ideal, to say the least. So in conclusion, we have an amazing, amazing knife as a collaboration between Reate Knives and Liong Mah. I really, really, really love this knife. I am jealous of my friend that he has this. There are only 49 that will ever be made, so I know that this will be special to anyone who ever gets to hold it or use it, at the least. So the combination of carbon fiber and titanium on a knife is always really sweet to me. I'm a big carbon fiber fan, in case you can't tell from my little cheapo background here. So this knife is just about perfect. If it weren't for that awful, awful pocket clip, this would be probably a perfect knife. If you guys are interested in it, I'm pretty sure that he still has a few of them left for sale on his site. I see that GP Knives has one or more for sale right now on their site as well. So go out and pick it up. Take a look at Liong Mah's products and see if you like any of his other models. As always, guys, if you enjoyed this video, click like and subscribe. Come back for more videos. I will have more soon. If you have any questions about the knife or anything, or you want to talk about Liong Mah's Tempest or any of his other blades, go ahead and do so in the comments. Let's talk about it. As always, guys, this is Dr. Frunkey. Take care.